Hey Math All-Stars, it's Dr. Conklin, and I'm here to do a lesson with you on is it a solution? So, before we jump into this, some of you might not have these copies of notes, but that's okay. We're going to ask you just to follow along with a piece of paper, and then we will probably make this into an ed puzzle so you can answer the questions as you go. So I would have a piece of paper and pencil. If you don't have one, you might want to go grab one quick. So is it a solution? So what we're going to be doing here is looking at when we substitute a value in for a variable, does it make an inequality true or false? So you can sort of think about these as true or false questions. We'll know something is an inequality if something is a solution, if it makes it true or false. So let's look at example 1. Something is a we know something is a solution. A value makes the inequality true. Okay, if something is a solution. Okay, so let's try our first example. Again, I'd have a piece of paper. Is x equals -4 a solution to the inequality below? Explain. So remember, explain means we want to write a sentence. So if we look at this, we're going to look at our form 4, and I'm going to leave a space. Plus 7 is less than -9. So instead of putting in x, I'm going to put in -4. When I evaluate this side, I have -16 plus 7, which means -16 plus 7 is -9. Is -9 less than -9? So let's take a second to think about this, right? We have no equal sign here. These -9 is less than -9. If I look on our solution set here by graphing it, -9 would have an open circle on it, meaning it's not part of the solution. This is a false statement. So x equals -4 is not a solution, since our answer is false. Okay, so let's try another one here. And you guys could even try this one yourself. Oh, no, you know what? We'll try this one together first. So I have x equals 4. Is that a solution? So -3, and I'm going to put little parentheses in here so that I keep myself organized, is greater than or equal to 12. So instead of putting in x, let's put in 4. So -3 times -4 is greater than or equal to 12. So if I look at that answer, negative times a negative is a positive. Is 12 greater than or equal to 12? Well, now we have that equal to part, right, guys? So this is true. If this is true, that means x equals 4 is a solution, since it makes our inequality true. Okay, so I think you guys are getting the hang of it, hopefully a little bit. Let's look one like this, where we have maybe 2 things to plug in. So 4 times 6 plus 5 minus 6 is greater than 7 times, sorry guys, it should be a -6.5. -6.5 plus 9. So let's evaluate this. And again, I would probably take my calculator, so I'm going to sort of model for you guys what you should be doing here. Right, here's my graphing calculator. Now is my phone. -6.5 times 4 minus 6 is -32. And let's see, is that greater than what we get for this side here? So -6.5, oops, hold on, let me just clear. -6.5 times 7 plus 9. So when we punch that in, we get -36.5. Now, this part's a little bit tricky, guys. Which is more negative? Which is farther away from 0? So if you think about it, negative 32 or negative 36.5, if we think about what's farther from 0, this number here is smaller because it's more negative, which means the bigger part should be facing. So that is true, which means x equals negative 6.5 is a solution because it makes our statement true, or inequality true. Okay, let me just zip ahead and see which other ones we want to do with you guys. Okay, so let's try this one too. We have 2 things to plug in for, so I'm sort of going to make a different spot for each one. 3 times 2 minus 1 is less than 8. So do you guys see here, instead of putting an x, I put in 2. I'm going to do the same thing over here. 2 minus 5 is greater than 0. Now it has this word or in the middle, and I know you guys know what that means. Like if I said you have to do number 2 or number 3, it means you get to choose, right? So if one of these is true, it means the whole thing is true. So let's see. 3 times 2 is 6 minus 1. 5 is less than 8. So again, take a second. Our 8 is the bigger number. The open part is facing it, so that's true. Here, we have negative 3 is greater than 0. This is negative, so it's definitely not bigger than 0. So this is false. But it doesn't matter, because if we have this statement, if one of them is true, the whole thing is true. So since x equals 2 is true for 3x minus 1 is less than 8, it is a solution. Now, when we see those words justify, we don't actually need to go through and do everything, but we did show lots of good work. So we want to just make sure to say that somewhere, yes, it is a solution. Okay, now, for example 5, we have to be a little bit careful because this has an and. So same thing, if I said you have to do number 1 and number 2 for homework, means you can't get away with just doing number 1, you got to do both the assignments, right guys? So if we look here, 1 minus 4 is less than or equal to 21. That's our first inequality. And instead of putting in x, we're going to put in negative 5. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and evaluate this. This is 1 negative times a negative is a positive. So be careful. 21 less than or equal to 21, that is true. Okay, so far one of them is true. Now let's check this guy. 5, instead of x, we're going to put in negative 5 in a minute, is greater than or equal to 22. And instead of putting in x, we're going to put in negative 5. So 5 times negative 5 is negative 25 plus 2 is greater than or equal to 22. So negative 23 is greater than or equal to 22. A negative number is never bigger than a positive number, so this is false, which means that they're both false, right? So this is not a solution. Okay, it has to work for both. Oops, I was so excited. Okay, those are our notes on is a solution. Hope you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you soon. Keep up the awesome work, All Stars. Bye.